Hey guys, my name is ehizeextech and you are welcome to a brand new series where we are going to build this elegant website from scratch. So that will be done with ReactJs and Tailwind CSS. And for sure, this project can be added into your portfolio in order to help you get a job as a junior front-end developer. Beautiful. So this exactly is the application that we are going to build in this series. To proceed, do well to hit the like button, make sure to subscribe, and let's get started. In this lecture, we are going to start building the Yum Eat website. And as usual, we are going to start from scratch by installing a new React application. So within the desktop, let's quickly create a new folder called Yum Eats. The next in line is to drag and drop the folder down into the VS Code. So quickly open up the VS Code. Go ahead to drag the folder into the VS Code. Let's maximize. And then I want to quit the sample page. Open up the VS Code integrated terminal. And I'm going to do Ctrl and backtick. Or you can as well find it at the top right here, which is terminal and then new terminal. So we are going to use the npx command to create a new React app without having to install it on our system. npx create -react -app, and then we want to install it in a directory called client. Hit the enter key to get it fire up. ReactJs installation is ongoing. And while the installation is ongoing, I want to introduce you to a CSS utility framework. And this framework is Tailwind. The Tailwind framework makes it very easy to style your application. And then you can hit on Get Started to see how to install and initialize Tailwind. And here are the advice to do that. If you want to install, you are going to do npm install -d Tailwind CSS. And then if you want to initialize, you are going to do npx Tailwind CSS init. For now, we are going to skip the Tailwind CSS and focus on React installation. ReactJs installed successful. So the next in line is to start up the front-end dev server. Head on to the terminal. First, we have to cd client. Then I'm going to do npm start. And here is the React sample page. Alright, now we are done installing ReactJs. In the next lecture, we are going to clean up the boilerplate by deleting unnecessary files that is not needed in this course. And after that, we will go ahead to create the component based on the application we are going to build. See you in the next lecture. Alright, let's go ahead to clean up the boilerplate. So it simply means we want to delete unnecessary files that we do not need to build the application. So quickly open up the client, src. Here we do not need the setup test.js. So I'm going to press down the command key on my keyboard and then hit the mouse to select. While holding down the command key, we want to multi-select the rest of the unnecessary files. So I'm going to select the report web vitals, logo.svg, apptest.js, and lastly, app.css. Right click. Let's move it to trash quickly. And when this happens, you will see this annoying error over here right within the terminal. Oops, we selected the app CSS, but it seems something went wrong, so I have to delete it again because it is not needed. Yup. The app.css is gone. And please do not delete the app.js. Alright? So the rest of these files over here are extremely important in building our application. So open up the app.js. And here it is complaining that the logo.svg is not found. Scroll up. Here is the logo.svg, and then here is the app.css. And of course, we just deleted it. So what I'm going to do right now is to highlight from lines 1 to 2 and then wipe it off. Scroll down. Okay, I think everything is fine for now. The next in line is to highlight from the opening header tag to the closing header tag, because we do not need any of these items over here. Wipe it off. Command S to save. And on the terminal, it says that the report web vitals is as well missing. And here is where you can find it. Index.js. So here, first we have to delete the import on lines 5. Having done that, it was called over here. We also have to delete it. And I think now our application will be nice. Quickly check out the browser and let's see the end result. Now we have a blank screen. So this exactly is the expected end. In the next lecture, we will create our components based on the observation from the Yum Eat project. See you then. Before we proceed to create the components, it is extremely important to observe the Yum Eat website in order to understand how it was built. So let's scroll up quickly. Take a look. This design is fantastic, believe me. Alright, so let's get started. Now, when you observe the screen, you will realize that we have the navigation component at the top, right here, okay? Which includes the Yum Eat logo over here, the free delivery badge, and at the center, we have the search box. So at the right side of the screen, we also have the cards. Yeah? And over here, we have the icon to toggle the navigation. When you click, can you see that? Beautiful. And also we have the X icon to close. Right below the top nav component, you are going to see the hero component, where we have the beautiful slider over here. Can you see? Okay, and right below the hero component, we have the quick delivery component. Below, we have the top pick component. And as well with this beautiful slider, for sure, you are going to love it. And below, we have the mail component. And here is the trending categories component. And here we have the newsletter component. Right below is the footer component. And now we have succeeded in breaking down the application into a smaller encapsulated segment called components. So let's head on to VS Code to create this component. So let's drag this down for a moment. Right within the SRC, like this, create a new folder called components. So right within this directory, we are going to create the files. And first, we have the top nav component. And I'm going to do topnav.js. And right after the top nav, we have the hero component, or we can as well call it the featured item component. I think that sounds better. So I'm going to do featured.js. After that, we have the quick delivery. We have the top picks component. The mail component, mail.js, trending categories. And I'm going to call it categories.js. We have the newsletter component. And lastly, the footer component. So this exactly is how to build application like a pro. When you observe the application, the first thing you will do is to break the website down into a smaller encapsulated segment called components. And of course, by now, you should know that component is the basic building block of every React application. So having created all the components, in the next lecture, we will go ahead to install Tailwind. Let's go ahead to install and configure Tailwind. So hit on the Get Started button. Here is the advice. So first, we are going to do npm install -d Tailwind CSS. Okay, so I'm just going to click here to copy. Go back to VS Code, right within the terminal, and please do make sure you are in the client directory. Paste it right here. And here, this will be used to initialize the Tailwind. Let me show you. Here is it. So when you click on this copy icon, we are going to copy the both of the commands. So quickly hit on the enter key to get it fire up. Tailwind installed successful. Let's check it out. So over here, I'm going to squeeze the components. Let's open up the package.json file. And when you scroll down, here is the Tailwind. Perfect. So right here, you are going to see the tailwind.config file. Go back to the advice. So the next is to copy these over here and paste it within the content array. So what I'm going to do right now is go back to the desktop, open. And here you are going to find the Yum Eat materials or the food materials. Open up the code helper. Now I'm going to copy this module over here. So I'm going to highlight, wipe it off, and then replace it. Save. So the next in line is to follow this advice over here. Highlight and then copy. Or you can hit this icon over here to copy. Come back, open up the index.css. Highlight, wipe it off, and then paste it over here. So having done this, we have succeeded in setting up the Tailwind. So now I want to create a base CSS for the button. Okay, so it is going to be more like the global CSS so that all the buttons in the application will follow the same pattern. And the way we do that is add layer base. And then we are going to have here the button. Right within the button, I'm going to do apply. So we want to apply the styles to the border. Border black, rounded dash, XL. So actually we are just applying the border radius to the button, okay? So this is going to make our buttons to be a little bit curvy, yeah? And then now we want to apply padding from the x-axis. So I'm going to do px. This actually implies the padding from left to right, okay? So which is the x-axis. And I'm going to do it 5 pixels. So the py represents the padding at the top and at the bottom. So at the top and the bottom, we are going to have it padding 1. So this actually will create space at the top of the button and at the bottom. Simple as that. And of course, if you are wondering why I am having all of these details over here, it is simply because I installed a very intelligent extension called Tailwind IntelliSense. So let me show you how to do that right now. Open up the extension. And then we are going to search for Tailwind IntelliSense. And here is it. At my end, I have it installed already. So what you are going to do at your end is to hit the install button. Okay, so right there, you are going to see install instead of uninstall. Go ahead to hit the install button at your end to have this powerful extension installed. It is indeed a very powerful extension, and for sure, it is going to be helpful. Okay. Close it down. And then now when I hover on the class right now like this, you are going to see the CSS equivalent. So basically what we did over here is to apply the border radius to be 0.75 rem. And here, the padding left is 1.25 rem. The padding right is 1.25 rem. When you hover on this again, the padding top is 0.25 rem and the padding bottom is 0.25 rem. So this is simply because I have installed a very powerful extension called Tailwind IntelliSense. So that actually will give you the CSS equivalent of the Tailwind. And that occurs when you hover on the utility classes. For example, I hover on this class over here. Can you see? What we simply did over here is to implement the border color. And in this case, it's black. Okay? This is all for now. And in the next lecture, we will begin to work on the top nav. See you then. In this lecture, we will proceed with the top nav component. And here exactly is where the fun begins. So right within the component package, let's open up the top nav.js. Okay, for now, let's bring down the terminal. And then Command B to close down the Explorer. RAFCE to generate the ReactJs arrow functional component. Perfect. Let's quickly render this component right within the app.js. Command P to pop up this little search box at the top, and I'm going to search for app.js. Open. So right within the div with the class name of app, we are going to render the top nav. Close it down with the soft closing tag, and take note, the top nav is imported automatically at the top. So if you are wondering how to do this, okay, let's start from scratch, wipe it off, and I'm going to do import top nav from /component/top nav. It's as simple as that. Let's go back to the top nav component. All right. So we are going to give this div a class name. Then we are going to specify the max width. Let's make it 1520. Margin from the left and right. Let's make it auto. And we are going to have it display flex. Justify content. Space between. And then we are going to align items to center. So the padding, we are going to make it 4. It's as simple as that. Alright, I know someone is curious about all of these stuffs because to some of you, this will appear new. But don't worry, after my awesome explanation, you will definitely understand it well enough. So what is happening over here is that we are giving this div a max width of 1520. And take note, this is how to specify a custom value. Okay, so I can wipe this off like this, and then you can specify the actual class value. But if you want to specify a custom value, you are going to open the block like this and then do 1520. So when I hover on the class right now, it is going to show the actual CSS equivalent that is functioning behind the scene. Let me show you. I hover on the max width, and then here we have the max width to be 1520. When I hover on the MX auto, can you see? Here we have the margin left to be auto and the margin right to be auto. So the MX simply implies margin on the X axis, which is in actual sense margin from left to right. Okay? And here we have it display flex. And I know you will be wondering that we did not mention the display over here. But when you hover on the class flex, you are going to see display flex. And here, justify content is space between. Let me show you. Can you see that? Justify content, space between. And align items to center. And the padding is 1 rem. So with the simplicity of this explanation, I know that you will understand it better enough right now. So let's get started. The top nav is divided into 3 places. We have the left side, the center, and the right side. So the left side, let me show you quickly. So here on the left side, we have the hamburger, the Yum Eats logo, and the free delivery. And at the center, we have the search box. At the top right corner, we have the cart. Good. So let's work on the left side. We are going to have a div over here with the class name. And right within the class name, we are going to have it display flex, align items to center. Guys, something I really want to bring to your notice is that Tailwind makes styling very easy. Honestly speaking, at the end of this course, you will always want to use Tailwind. Believe me. Now we are going to have another div with the class name of cursor dash pointer. So right within this div, we are going to render the icon. And then for that, we have to install the React icon. And now I'm going to do npm install react-icons. Just like this. Hit on the enter key. Alright, so React icons installed successful. Let me show you. Open up the package.json file. And here is it. Close it down. So right within this div, we are going to render an icon called outlined menu. But before we do that, first, we have to import it from React icons. So I'm going to do import AI outlined menu from react-icons / we have to suffix it with AI. Because over here, we prefix it with AI, and then also we have to suffix it here with AI. So all the AI related icons will be imported here. Cool. So I guess we should do that right now so that we don't have to waste time doing it in the future. Here I'm going to do AI outline search, comma, AI outline close. The close icon for the menu. Let me show you quickly. This guy over here. So this is the guy we just imported, which is the AI outline menu. And this is the AI outline search. This guy. I know you understand all of this stuff. And lastly, AI fill tag. So all of this stuff is prefixed with AI, and that exactly is why we suffixed it with AI. Nice. Now let's render the AI outline menu. Let's give it a size. Let's say 25. Save. Come here. I'm going to do npm start to start up the project. And make sure you render this component right within the app.js. Here is it. Oops, sorry guys, there is a mistake in the command. So I think this will work this time. At the top left corner of the screen, you are going to see the AI outline menu. And this icon over here will be used to toggle the side drawer. Right after the closing div, we are going to have a h1 tag, and I'm going to call this yum. Right within the h1, we are going to have a span, and the span, I'm going to do it. So let's give it a style. Class name, test-to-excel. So we are basically specifying the font style. And when you hover on the class, it is going to show you the CSS equivalent that is running behind the scene. And please, when applying styles with Tailwind, you do not need to go outside the quote. So everything you are going to do is going to be right within the quote. Sounds good, right? Beautiful. On a smaller device, SM, we want the test to appear 3XL. So basically, we are implementing the breakpoint over here. So on a larger screen, the test is going to appear 4XL. As simple as that. And then here, the padding left and right is going to be 2. So when you save, go back to the browser and let me show you. Now, when I squeeze, do you see? The text becomes smaller. So when you increase and at a particular breakpoint, the text becomes bigger and bigger. So this is going to be large, this is medium, and this is a smaller device. Observe it again one more time. So on a smaller device, the text look like this. On medium, the font size is going to increase. Can you see? On a larger device, it is going to increase again. Take a look. Perfect, guys. So I think Tailwind is extremely awesome and actually it makes work easier. Good. So right after the closing h1 tag, we are going to have a div. Let's give it a class name. And right within the class, we are going to stylize it by actually calling the utility classes in Tailwind. Now, that exactly is how Tailwind works. So here, we are going to make it hidden on a smaller device, okay? So on a large screen, we are going to display flex, align items to center. The background color is going to be gray. So let's specify a number to it so that it actually adds to, should I say, thickness of the color or something like that. And then we want it to be rounded. Rounded is going to be full. So padding is going to be 1. The text, let's make it 14 pixels. And please, here we also have to add a pixels, okay? Like this. Here. So hover on it and check it out. Now we have the max width to be 1520 pixels. Close down the div. So right now, let me explain what is going on. So here we are going to have a p tag. And I'm going to do free. Another p tag over here, duplicate. And we're going to have delivery. Like this. So under a smaller device, we do not want to see these guys, okay? But on a larger screen, we want to see them appear. Okay, let me show you quickly. When you save on the browser, here is it. So when I shrink the screen, let's see, can you see that? On a smaller device, it disappears. But when you increase on a larger screen, we should be able to see these. We're actually making everything looks responsive. And of course, I would deeply appreciate if you could rate and review this course. And as well, share this course to your friends because it is going to be helpful. So let's stylize the p tag. For the free, I'm going to do class name, the background color, BG, dash orange, dash 700 because we want the thickness of the orange color to be actually very thick. Okay, good. The text color is going to be white. Text dash white. The background is going to be rounded full. The padding is 2. And the text, we want it bold. Don't worry, I'm going to explain all of this stuff in a jiffy. And here again, let's give it a class name. The padding is going to be 2. The text is going to be bold. Save and let's see what we have on the browser. Take a look. Can you see that? Now we have the logo and the free delivery in a very perfect condition. I love this. Now let me explain what happens under the hood. Over here we have a class name and on a smaller device we are going to hide all of these p tags. But on a larger screen we want it to display flex, align items to center. The background of the font is going to be gray. So the rounded full is going to make the stuff to be a kind of circular. Let me show you this stuff over here. And when you hover on it, the border radius is 999 pixels, which actually could be 100%. And the padding is 0.2 rem. The text is 14 pixels. Alright, now we are done with the left side. Let's proceed with the search bar at the center. Right after the closing div, we are going to have another div. And right within the class name, we are going to give it a background color of gray dash 200. So this actually will tell the value of the gray, okay? How grayish it will appear. Stuff like that. Rounded, full. So by now, you should understand all of this stuff. Display flex, align items to center. padding from x-axis, which implies left and right. We're going to make it 2. And then the width, we're going to have our own custom width. So whenever you do something like this, it means you want to implement your own custom kind of stuff. For example, the left and right padding, I can decide to make it like this in a custom way. I can do 12 pixels. So when you hover on it like this, you see padding left, 12 pixels, padding right, 12 pixels. But I decide not to do that. I want to keep it like this. So whenever you want to have your own custom style, you can use the square bracket. Now, padding left is 0.5 rem, padding right is 0.5 rem. So the width, 200 pixels. On a smaller device, the width is going to be 400 pixels. On a large device, the width is going to be 500 pixels. Oops, take a look. Nice. Let's close up the div. And right here, we are going to have the AI outline search. Remember, we imported it earlier on from React icons. Just highlight and copy. And here, I'm going to render it. Close it up with the self-closing tag. Give it a size of 25. Save. Check out the browser. Oh yeah. Now, can you see? Let me show you. Here is it. But the problem now is that it is being aligned to the top right corner of the screen. So we will find a way to align it to the center. Again, right within the div, we're going to have an input tag. Give it a class name, and then the background color is going to be transparent. P-2, of course you know what it is. The width is going to be full. This will actually specify 100% to the width. Let's check it out. Take a look. Can you see? When you hover on the class, you are going to see the actual CSS that is running behind the scene, and it says width is 100%. And please, if this hover is not working for you, it is simply because you did not install the Tailwind IntelliSense. So make sure to go over to the extensions and then install Tailwind IntelliSense. Here is it. Alright, fine. And by the way, I taught you how to do that in the previous lecture. Let's continue. So the focus outline, let me show you something before we do that. Save. Okay, let's close it up like this. On the browser, here is it. Can you see? When I place my mouse right inside the input tag, you are going to see this outline. Okay, so this exactly is what we do not want. When I click out, you see it is gone. And then when I click in, you will see the outline. Let's take it off quickly. So I'm going to do focus outline. It is going to be none. Save. Check out the browser. When you click on it, you see it is gone. Perfect. Okay, I think we should close it up with the self-closing tag. It makes the code looks a little bit cleaner. And here I'm going to do the input type is equal test, placeholder equal search meals. When you save on the browser, can you see search meals? And this is the icon we rendered over there, which is the outline search icon. We have to implement the cut. So right after the closing div here, we are going to have a button. Give the class name to stylize, bg-orange-700. So this actually will help for the rate for which the color will look thicker or something like that. The text is going to be white. We want it to be hidden right within a smaller device, and then a medium device like the iPad. Okay, we are going to align items to center. The top and bottom padding to rounded we are going to make it rounded full. And right within the button, I'm going to do cut. When you save and check out the browser, and here is it. Now we have succeeded in pushing the search box a little bit to the center, and then the cut is being aligned to the top right corner of the screen. Okay, the next in line is to add the cut icon right within the button. How do we do that right now? Okay, I'm going to do here. We are going to use the fill cut fill. Go to the top. Think we also have to import this. Import BS fill cut fill. And please do not ask me where all of these names are coming from. So we are going to import it from react-icons. And then we are going to surface it with BS. So let's quickly import all the icons that is under BS. And I guess it is one more. Here I'm going to do BS person. As simple as that. And right within the button, we are going to render BS fill cut fill. Close it up with the self-closing tag. And then let's specify the size. Just like this. Save. On the browser, there are these. Can you see? Everything appears as expected. So let me show you. Now, when I minimize the screen, let me squeeze it down to hit a particular breakpoint. Do you see? Can you see? So on a smaller device, we do not want it to show up. Now, the cut appears. Good. We are actually hitting our target. And that exactly is fine. So the next in line is to implement the side drawer. So when I click on this button, the drawer will slide out. And when I click on the X icon, the drawer as well will close. Let's do that in the next lecture. So the intention here is to click on the hamburger menu to open up the side nav. But right now, when you click on it, nothing happens. Can you see? Alright, so let's quickly head on to VS Code to implement such functionality. To proceed, first, we have to declare the necessary state variable to be used. So I'm going to do const side nav, comma, set side nav equal useState. And this is going to be a Boolean operation, so the initial state is going to be false. Good. Having done this, let's quickly implement it on this icon over here. So, where do we have it? Okay, here is it, which is the AI outlined menu. And then we are going to implement it on this div, the wrapper div for the AI outline menu. We are going to specify on click. So on click of this icon, we want to open up the side nav. Okay, so basically what it does is to change the state, okay, from false to true, and false to true. Let me show you quickly. Now we are going to invoke the setter function to update the initial state. And it is going to be set side nav. I'm going to do not side nav. Okay, so click on the icon over here. It is going to switch the initial state to false. When you click on it again, it is going to switch it to true. Let me show you what I mean by that. Console.log side nav. When you save and check out the browser, and please do make sure the application is already running. And right here, oops, it says side nav is not defined. Alright friends, here is where the problem lies. There is a typographical error over here. This is supposed to be const. And I know that some of you can quickly detect this error. Fix it at your end. When you save, on the browser, okay, Alt-I to open up the console. So now when I click on the menu, it is going to change the initial state to true. Now the initial state becomes true. When I click on the menu again, it is going to change to false. So basically, we are switching from false to true. Good. Let's continue. Okay, so the next in line is to create a background overlay.
because we want everything to appear in a professional way, kind of. So right after the button, we are going to have another div, class name, and then I'm going to give it a background color of black, and then divide the black by 60. Don't worry, you will definitely see the outcome. The position is going to be fixed. The width, let's make it 100%, which is full. The head screen, the Z index, because we want it to appear at the top, okay? It is going to serve as an overlay. So we have to specify the Z index 10. From top is 0, and from left is 0. Close down the div. When you save on the browser, now here is the outcome. Don't worry, we are going to control it. So the way we will control it is by placing a condition. Okay, so when the nav is true, we want to show the overlay, and else we do not want to show anything, which simply implies when we click on the hamburger menu like this, we want to show the overlay. So when the hamburger menu is clicked, we are going to show the overlay, else we are not going to have it displayed. Let me show you quickly. Now, to write JavaScript in JSS, we have to open up the curly bracket. Then I'm going to do, if side nav is true, we want to show this div over here, which is the overlay. Highlight, cut it off, and then open up the parentheses because we are expecting a UI layout. Paste it, and else, like this, we are not going to show anything. Save, and let's see if it is working. Reload. Can you see? So when I click, it appears. This exactly is how to place a condition on the overlay. Don't worry, everything is about to take shape. Regards to the top nav. Alright, so the next in line is to create the side nav itself. So right here, we are going to have a div with the class name. And right within the class name, we have to stylize it. So here, we are going to have it position fixed. From the top, 0. From the left, 0. The width is going to be, let's specify a custom width, 300 pixels. Head screen. So the head screen simply means that the height is 100 view height. Take a look. BG is going to be white, which is the background. The Z index is 10. So we want it to animate in and as well animate out. So for that, let's specify the duration and let's make it 300. Or we can make it 200. When you save on the browser, here is it. Can you see that? Everything is already taking shape. But right now, it looks like it's fixed to the screen. It is not movable. You see? Okay, let's move on. Let me show you. So let's do something very nice. Let's condition the side drawer. So right here, we are going to have opening and closing curly bracket. So if the side nav is true, we want to show this style over here. Highlight and cut it off. Come here. Okay. If the side nav is true, we want to show this style. Okay. Also highlight and copy, but now we are going to change the style. I think let's do it like this. Format the code. Good. Now let me explain to you carefully what happens over here. So if the side nav is true, let me show you the initial state over here. If it is true, we want it to appear from the left 0 pixels, and then we are going to specify the width of 300 pixels. Else, if it is false, we want it to go in a negative direction. Let me show you. So here we are going to specify the left dash. We are going to have a custom value, and I'm going to make it 100%. We'll shift the sidebar in a negative direction towards the x-axis, hiding it from the screen. Save on the browser. Okay, let me see something here. Okay, let's change it to true. nothing happens. Everything is correct here. Alright guys, let's change the 200, which is the duration. Let's change it to 300. Okay guys, this will work. When you change it to false, save, can you see it disappears? And when you change it to true, it appears. Can you see? So from the left, when the initial state of the side nav is set to true, the navigation drawer will appear from the left 0 pixels, and then the width is going to be 300 pixels. But if the initial state of the side nav is set to false, from the left, it is going to go negative 100%. Okay, and hereby hiding the side drawer. It's as simple as that. So now let's begin to implement the menu icons right within the side nav. So let's do that in the next lecture.
Welcome back everyone. So in this lecture, we are going to implement the menus right within the drawer. Okay, so the first thing we are going to do is to implement an icon that will be used to close down the side drawer. Let's do that quickly. So right within the div, let me show you. This is the div over here like this. Right within, we are going to render the outline close icon. Let me see. And here is it. We imported it in the previous lecture. Copy, come down. Let's render it over here. Close it up with the self-closing tag. The size, of course, is going to be 25. Save. On the browser, here is it. But we do not want it at the top left corner. So we want it to be aligned at the top right corner over here, right within the navigation drawer. For now, I don't think the style will be something difficult. So let's make it clickable for now. So here I'm going to specify the on click. On click of this icon, we also want to switch the initial state from false to true, just as we did in the previous lecture. Here, let me show you exactly what we did over here. So I think I just have to copy the on click like this. Paste it here. Let's format the code. Beautiful. Save. On the browser, click, can you see? And then click this to open, this to close. Alright, so let's quickly stylize the close icon and have it aligned properly. We are going to have it position absolute. Let me show you. You see? Good. And then from the right, let's make it 4. From the top, let's make it 4. And then the cursor is going to be pointer. Save. And now, here is it. Close, open. Close, open. And now, hope you understand well enough how we achieved this result. If you do not understand it for the very first time, I advise that you go through the lectures again in order to get a clear picture of what we are talking about. Let's see the mobile responsiveness. Do you see? On iPhone? Let's check it on iPhone 12. Take a look. Everything cool. So let's implement the menus over here. And that is extremely easy. It's as simple as ABC. So after the icon, we are going to have here a H2 tag. The padding is 4. And within the H2 tag, we're going to do yum eat, just as we did in the previous lecture. And then here we're going to have a span. Within the span, I'm going to do eat. Let's stylize the span.
orange 700. And here is it. One thing I love to do is font bold. Can you see? Now the span tag becomes extremely bold. All right. So right after the H2 tag, we are going to have a nav. Right within the nav, we are going to have an unordered list, UL. Let's give it a style. Let's have it display flex, and the flex direction is column. The padding is 4, the text gray 900. Cool. So right within the UL, we are going to have the li tags, which is the list. Then here, give it a class name. Let's stylize it within the class by actually importing the utility classes that is present right here in Tailwind. And one of the class is test-xl py, which is the top and the bottom padding. Then we're going to have it display flex. It's as simple as that. So right within the li tag, we are going to render the BS person, which is this icon over here. The size 25. Give it a class name to stylize it. So the margin right, which is MR, is going to be 4, which in actual sense is going to be 1 rem. Let me show you. Margin right, 1 rem. And then the text white. The background color is black. Rounded full. So this actually will help for the border radius. Save and let's see. Good. Can you see that? Now we have this guy over here. And what we should do is my account. So right within the li tag, when you save, it appears exactly like this. Awesome. Everything is working as expected. Do you see? All right. So what I'm going to do right now is to highlight the li tag like this and then duplicate it 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or you can copy and paste 4 times. So what we should do right now is to change the icons and the label, okay? It's quite simple to do that. So right here, this icon is going to be TB truck return. And of course, we should import these from React icon. Okay, I think we should do it the way we did it before. We are going to import all the necessary icons so that we do not have to come back here to do that again. And here, we're going to import FA user friends and FA Google Wallet. You can decide to use a different icon, just your choice, okay? I think we have to duplicate this because I don't have to type from scratch anymore. So guys, notice that we prefixed the whole of the icons here with FA. So we are going to suffix it with FA. The same thing here, we prefix it with TB. So we have to suffix it with TB. That is the only way it works. Don't ask me how it works because I don't know. So here we are going to import MD help, comma, MD outlined favorite. Oops, the outline should be here, capital letter O. Go through your stuff and make sure the whole import is correct. Okay? Now let's begin to make use of it. Here we have TB truck return. And this is going to be delivery. So when you save and check out the side drawer, can you see? Here we have delivery. And when you zoom up, you are going to see the boss over here. All right, so we have to change the rest of this, guys. The next is MD outlined favorite. And here, FA Google Wallet. Oops, this is supposed to be wallet. So lastly, we are going to have help. You can go ahead to add more icons and more stuffs that you want. Okay, I don't think we are using the AI field tag. Wipe it off. The FA user friends, we didn't make use of it. Wipe it off. You can decide to make use of it if you want. Oops, MD outline favorite was not found in React icons. MD outline favorite. So this guy over here. Oops, guys, we have to suffix it with MD. I told you this won't work if you do not suffix it, and as well if you do not prefix it. I don't know why they built the stuff like that, so oops. All right, guys. Okay. Favorite. Okay, sorry. I think this will work this time. Yes, this will work. Favorite is bringing issue. I don't know why. Anyway, Tailwind is my favorite. Now everything is working, and it is working perfectly fine as expected. Everything looks nice. Do you see? On mobile device, it appears nicely. On iPad, take a look. This is classic. This is classic. Alright guys, we are done with the top nav. So the next in line is to implement the featured component. Let's do that in the next lecture. See you then. Alright, so before we proceed with the featured component, we have to make the necessary corrections. When you open up the browser, you will realize that by default, the side drawer is opened. Can you see? So when the user visits your website, this exactly is how it is going to appear. And that is not nice at all. So now, can you see? When I click this, it closes. Can you see? So by default, it appears like this. Do you know why? It is simply because we set the initial state to be true. Go back to VS Code. Right on lines 14, where we have the state, we are going to set it to false. So the initial state is false. When you go back to the browser, can you see? Now it appears as expected. And then the user have to click on the hamburger icon to open up the navigation drawer. One thing I will also love to do is to implement the on-click right within the overlay. So when I click on the overlay, I should be able to close down the navigation drawer. Let me show you. Copy. And here is the overlay. What I'm going to do now, let's see if it is going to work. Something like this. Save. So here, when you click on the hamburger, it opens up the side drawer. When you click on the overlay, the side navigation drawer will close down. Alright, so we no longer depend on only the close icon. You can also click on the close icon, or you click on the overlay.
Beautiful. So the next correction is going to be the Yum Eats logo over here. So we want the Eats to appear boldly. So what I'm going to do right now, scroll to the top, is to give the span a class name and then font dash bold. And this will make the Eats appear more boldly. Save on the browser. Can you see? How beautiful is this? Take a look. Awesome. I love it. Welcome back, everyone. In this lecture, we will proceed with the featured component. Head on to VS Code, open up the Explorer, and then right within the components package, you are going to see the featured.js. Click to open. RAFCE to generate the React arrow functional component. Let's quickly render this component right within the app.js. And please make sure to import it at the top. Now, the first thing we are going to do is to declare an array of objects. And right within the object, we are going to have the URL of the images that we want to slide. Here I'm going to do const sliders equal, set it to an empty array, and right within the array, we are going to have the object. So don't worry, I have the object prepared already. What we are going to do is to copy and paste. It's as simple as that. So go back to the food materials, code helper, and then copy the hero object. Come here, highlight again from lines 5 to 7. Wipe it off as we have copied the already made object. So we just have to paste. Okay, so all of these images, I deployed them to Cloudinary. Okay, I have a Cloudinary account where I can upload images. Good. Having done this, the next in line is to declare the necessary state variable to be used. So at the top, we want to make use of the useState hook. So right below the array, we are going to generate the useState hook snippet like this. So here we are going to have current index set. Make this to capital C. The initial state is going to be 0. All right. Let's implement the UI. Highlight the featured, wipe it off. Let's give the class name, and right within the class, we have to make use of the utility classes to stylize the div. Give the max width of 1520 pixels, the height of 500 pixels. The width, let's make it full width. Top and bottom padding is going to be 4. Left and right padding is going to be 4. And we are going to have it position relative. Right within the div, we are going to have another div. Give it a class name, and then we are going to specify the width again. It's going to be full width. So I just have to copy from here. The height is full height. And this will make the height 100% and the width 100%. You should know that by now. Rounded to XL. BG. The duration is 500. The background position is center. The background size is cover. So this will help resize the images to fit in the container. So this is going to be the transition duration. As simple as that. So let me show you quickly. Now, I can choose to apply styles to it. Background image. Now we have to use the template literal. URL. Sliders within the array. Current index. Dot URL. So let's see what happens on the browser. Save. On the browser, can you see? Now this is the first image. So let me explain what happens under the hood. Right here, we have an array of objects. So to access the element in an array, we have to make use of the array index. So here we say that the initial state of the index is 0, which means it is going to return this image over here. So when you check out the browser, here is it. So this is the first image right within the array. And then, so when I do index 1, it is going to retrieve the second image in the array. Can you see? Index 2, which will retrieve the third element or image in the array. Perfect. All right. Now we have successfully displayed our images, but now it is not sliding. Don't worry, we will do that in a jiffy. So before we proceed with the slides, we also have to implement the left and the right arrow. Let's quickly scroll to the top where we will import the icons from React icons. BS chevron compact left. And next is the BS chevron compact right. So we just have to highlight this and copy. From here, paste, and then let's change it to right. Simple as that. Scroll down. Right after this div, we're going to have another div. And right within the div, we are going to render BS chevron compact left. Let's apply style to it. The position absolute. So this will actually place the icon on top of the image. Top is 50%. So we are going to have a negative translate X over here. Then translate Y. Let's specify a custom value. 50%. Right is 5. Test to Excel. So this indicates the font size and the line height. Rounded is full. Padding 2. The background is going to be orange dash 700. The text is white. Let's set the cursor to be pointer. As simple as that. Save. On the browser. And here is it. Okay, so this guy over here is supposed to come to the left. Let's see what is wrong. The top is 50%. Translate X is -0. Translate Y. Okay, this is going to be -50%. And here, this is supposed to start from the left and not from the right. I think that will fix the issue. Take a look. Can you see? Perfect. So the next in line is to duplicate this icon over here and then align it to the right. It's quite easy to do that. From lines 24 to lines 26. Highlight and duplicate. So here, let's change this to right. Save.
Now, do you see? Good. So let's change the icon to indicate the right side, kind of. So here is going to be chevron compact right. Good. All right, so guys, everything is taking shape, and do not forget to review and rate this course. It is extremely important because I have to know exactly what you are feeling over there. Teaching good? Beautiful. Okay, so basically what I want to do right now is to hide the arrows, and then we want the arrow to be visible when we hover on the slider. For that, I'm going to do something like this. Here, we are going to group the parent div like this. So come here and I'm going to do hidden. So this is going to hide the arrow left. Now we want the arrow left to show up on hover. What I'm going to do is group dash hover. We are going to have a display block. Save. Can you see? When I hover on it, it shows up. Now take a look. Can you see? Let's quickly apply it on the right arrow. Just have to copy everything from here and then paste. Save. On the browser, do you see? When I hover on it, it shows the left and the right arrow. But right now, when you click on the arrows, nothing happens. So let's quickly define the function to implement the arrow. Scroll to the top. Sorry, let's make the initial state to be 0 so that it appears nicely. So here we are going to define a function to handle the arrow click. Const previous slider equal, set it to arrow function, and here we are going to have a variable called isFirstSlide. Set it to current index equals 0. Another one, and this will be called new index equal isFirstSlide. So if firstSlide is equal to true, we're going to do sliders dot slider dot length -1 else current index is going to be -1. So the next in line is to update the state. So we are going to set current index to the new index. As simple as that. Let's implement the onClick right within the chevron compact left, which is the arrow left. On click, we have to call the function previous slider. When you save, check out the browser. Let's give it a try by clicking on the left slider. Guys, can you see? It works! Beautiful! Now we have succeeded in creating our own slider from scratch. How beautiful is this? Alright, so now let's implement it for the right arrow. We're going to have another function. Const next slider, set it to arrow function. And then we are going to have a variable called isFirstSlide equal current index. We are going to do sliders dot length. Okay, so we are actually accessing the whole slider right within the array to get the total value of the slider. So that exactly is the slider dot length. And then here we are going to do -1 const new index equal is last slide So if its last slide is true, we are going to set it to 0. And else we are going to set it to the current index plus 1. Simple as that. Now we have to update the initial state by doing set current index to the new index. And actually here, before we proceed, this in actual sense should be its last slide. So right here, on click, we have to call this function. Paste it here. Save. On the browser, let's check it out. Can you see? Everything is working perfectly fine. Take a look. One more thing. Come here. Again, this actually will be for the bullets right below the sliders. Gonna have const move to slide equal slide index. Let's set current index to the parameter slide index. Cool. Guys, so go to the top and let's import an icon. So this icon is going to serve as a bullet right below the slider. And when you click on the bullet, you will be able to move the sliders. Don't worry, you will definitely understand it when we are done with the implementation. rx.field, like this. From React icons. So right after this div, we are going to have another div. Let's quickly stylize it. We are going to have it display flex. From top, we are going to have it for justify content, center, padding top and padding bottom. We are going to have 2. So what we are going to do is to map through the slides. Okay. So I'm going to do sliders dot map. Map is a method, right? And right within this method, we are going to take in a parameter slider items, which this guy over here represents each element right within this array. And in this case, the image URL, comma, slide index. We are going to render the UI, a div with the class name. Test is going to be to Excel. Cursor is pointer. Close it down. So right within the div, we are going to render the rx.that field. Close it down. So let me show you quickly. It says rx.that field was not found. You know why? It is simply because, again, we forgot to prefix it with rx. Guys, this is how React icons work. Save. Can you see these icons? But now, when you click on it, nothing happens. So let's quickly implement the onClick. First, let's give it a key, because the application is going to complain if you do not specify the key. Let me show you. Can you see? It says one in each child in a list should have a unique key prop. I know you know that. And this is just a reminder. So I'm going to have here key equal slide index. This guy over here. Right? Save again on the browser. Check out the console. Let's refresh. Now the error is gone. Beautiful. Okay, let's implement the onClick. OnClick, we are going to call the function move to next slide. Okay, so let's make it readable. Move to
next slide. Copy, come here, paste it. Okay, fine. So we are going to take in the parameter slide index. It's as simple as that. When you save on the browser, I click. Can you see? This is extremely fantastic, friends. Alright, so this is all for now for the slider, and in the next lecture, we will proceed with the delivery app component. See you in the next lecture. Stay focused and always take care. Alright, welcome back everyone. So in this lecture, we will proceed with the quick delivery app component. Head on to VS Code. Close this down. Open up the delivery.js. Close down the Explorer, RAFCE, to generate React arrow functional component. Let's quickly render it within the app component. And please do make sure to import it at the top. So we are going to specify the width to be full, which will make it width 100%. The background is white. Padding top and padding bottom is 16. And then left and right padding is 4. Good. So now this will serve as the parent div. Here we are going to have a h3 tag. Let's stylize it quickly. The text is orange dash 500. Let's make it bold. Font dash bold. The text is to Excel and then text align center. So now I'm going to do quick delivery app. Save on the browser. Here is it. Now, right after the closing history tag, we are going to have a div. And let's quickly stylize the div. The width is going to be 1520 in pixels. Margin left and margin right is going to be auto. We are going to have it display grid. And then on medium device, we want the grid to display column 2. So the grid template column is 2. Close down the div. Now we are going to have an image. img. Let's give it a class name and then let's stylize the image. The width is 550 pixels. It's going to be a custom value. By now you know what this is. Margin top and margin bottom 4. src equal. Let's go back to the code helper in order to copy the URL. And here is it. Highlight and copy. Come here, paste. Then close it up with the self-closing tag. Let's save. See what we have on the browser. Can you see? It appears here. Looks good. So right after the img tag, we are going to have another div. Let's give it a style. We are going to have it display flex. Flex direction is column. Justify content. Center. And right within this div, we are going to have a p tag. Let's quickly give it a style. And again, this is going to be a custom style. 00D F9A. The font is going to be bold. Again, here we are going to have a h1 tag.
And I'm going to do let's check it out. Okay, it appears fine. We also have to stylize it. All right. On medium device, the test is going to have a 4XL, and on smaller device, it is going to have 3XL. The font, let's make it bold. Padding top and padding bottom, let's make it 2. I think this will put everything all right. It's looking good already. Okay, don't worry. It is definitely gonna come to the top. Okay. So now we are gonna have a P tag right below the H1 tag. So here I'm just gonna copy a dummy test, and then I'm just gonna paste it right here. So this is just a dummy test. And if you like, okay, you can go back to the code helper. I know most of you will like to do exactly what I am doing. So come here and copy this test. But you can go to the internet and just search for dummy test, and then you can copy it over there. When you save, check out the browser. Boom. It looks nice, but I do not like the way it appears for now. Don't worry. Let's proceed. We are going to have a button. Let's give the class name, and then let's stylize the button. The background is going to be black. The text right within the button is going to be this guy over here. Just have to copy. No need for repetition. The width, 200 pixels. Rounded. The font, let's make it medium. Margin top and bottom, let's make it 6. Margin left and right, let's make it auto. On medium device, we are going to have the margin left and right to be 0. And the padding top and padding bottom is going to be 3. So right within the button, I'm going to write get started. Save. Alright, so everything appears to be fine, but I really do not like the outcome. So I just have to go back to VS Code and let's figure stuff out over here. This is the div that contains the whole of this info over here. So what I'm going to do, we have 1520. Let's change it to 1240. Save. Let's check it out. Alright. Good. Everything looks extremely awesome, and it appears as expected. One thing left is that there's no space between the P tag and the button. So I think we have to fix that quickly. Now let's add. Alright guys, can you see? We added 6 as the margin top and margin bottom. But look, it is not working. Can you see? So for that, we have to do -6. And there you go. Perfect, guys. This is all for now, and in the next lecture, we will proceed with the top peak components. And there, I will also teach you how to make a React slider using the split slide. See you in the next lecture. Stay focused and always take care. Welcome back, everyone. In this lecture, we will go ahead to implement the slider, which is the top peak component. So without further ado, let's get started. Open up the Explorer, and then we have to open up the top peak.js.
close down the Explorer, and then I'm going to do RAFCE to generate the arrow functional component. Right now, I want to change this div. All right, we want to have a React fragment, which will serve as the parent node. So right within this fragment, I'm going to do h1. So I'm going to say here, topics. Let's give it a class so that we can stylize it. The text orange dash 500. The fonts, we want it bold. Text dash to Excel. Let's align the text to center. Padding top and padding bottom, let's make it 2. As simple as that. All right. Okay, let's save for now. Right within the app component, let's render the top pick component and do well to import it at the top. Save. Make sure the application is running. All right, so on the browser, here is it. Okay, so this will serve as the header. Beautiful. Now, the next in line is to implement the slider. Okay, so quickly head on to splitejs.com. And then you are going to see the Get Started button. Click on it. And then here you can read up the documentation so as to understand well enough how it works. But for now, I'm just going to proceed to the NPM. And here, okay, let me show you quickly. You can see the link to this page right within the code helper. And here is it. Okay, so here, this is how to install the React Split over here. I'm going to copy, come back to VS Code, Ctrl C to stop the currently running server. Command V to paste the command. And then hit on the Enter key to get it fire up. Good. Installed successful. Now, the next in line is to import it at the top. Head on to the top pick, and then again, go back to React Split. We have to copy this import right here. Paste it at the top. Save. Good. All right, so quickly, we also have to import the data that we are going to use for the top pick slider. Okay, so I advise you to minimize your VS Code. Command B to open up the Explorer. Close down the components and as well close down the SRC. So open up the food materials and then you are going to find a package over here called data. Right within this data, we have the data.js module, which comprises of the categories, the meal, and the top pick data. Don't worry, when we are done importing, I'm going to disclose it to you. So, drag and then drop it right within the SRC. Can you see? Now it is within the SRC. When I close down the SRC, you won't see the data anymore. Do you see? Good. Maximize. All right, so let's open it up. Now here, you will see an array of objects. And right within the object, you are going to see some items in form of key value pair, which is the ID, and here is one. The title, and here is what it is. The price, 850, and the image. And then these are the data for the top picks. And when you scroll down again, you are going to see the data for the meal. Okay, and of course, it is an array of objects which comprises of the ID, the name of the meal, the category it falls on, the image, and the price. Scroll down again, you are going to see the categories data. And of course, it is exactly the same, but now we have different data. Yeah, so that exactly is what it is. And the benefit of doing this is to equip you on how to work with API. Okay, so if we can fetch data from here, then fetching data from external source is no longer going to be an issue. And for sure, in the future, when we begin to build the movie website, we will definitely have to fetch from an API endpoint. So right at the top, we are going to import. The data right within the data module are all named export. Let me show you. Can you see? Export const top peak. So this is a named export. And we have to import it like this. Okay? From /data/data. It's as simple as that. Good. Now, here exactly is where the fun begins. We are going to have a div over here. Give it a class name to stylize it. We want it to be hidden in a smaller device. Okay, so in a larger device, we want to have it display flex. The max width, we want it 1520. So in simplicity, we do not want to display the slider category on mobile phones, all right? We want it to be displayed on a larger screen, such as your laptop, desktop, and the rest of them. For sure, this will be on pixels. And then margin is auto. Padding top and bottom is 2. Padding left and padding right is 2 as well. So having done this, we have to map through the data, which is the top peak data. All right. So we have to map through all of these stuffs over here. Like this, we want to map through it and then have it displayed on the screen. It's actually very simple to do that. First, the opening and closing curly brackets. And then I'm going to do top peaks dot map. Then here I'm going to do item. So this item over here represents each object right within the topic array. Yeah. So now, and we are going to return the UI. And right within the UI, we will begin to display the items such as title, the price, and the image. So here I'm going to have a div with the class name, and then we have to stylize it. So we are going to stylize the border radius, which is going to be 3XL. Position relative. So right within this div, we are going to have another div. Give the class name, and then let's stylize the div. So since this guy is positioned relative, we want to position this guy absolute so that it can be on top of the parent div like this. Okay, so this div over here is going to position on top of this guy. It's as simple as that. Position absolute. The width is full, which makes it 100%. The height is full, which also makes the height 100%. The BG, I'm going to do BG dash black. But in this case, we want it to be a little bit transparent. So I'm going to divide it by 50. And then rounded, which will make the borders to be a little bit curvy. Then I'm going to have 3XL. The text, let's make it white. Close down the div. Okay, let's close this down. And I think, all right, it's actually cool like this. So we want to use the P tag to display the title. So here I'm going to do P, and then item dot title. You can recall that this item over here represents each object in the array. So this item dot title. This is the title over here that we are trying to display. Yeah. And then all of these titles like these all of them like this will be displayed because we have used the item that represents each object to display this title. You would definitely understand it well enough. Save and let's check it out on the browser. Alright, so before we check it out on the browser, recall that we stopped the server, so we have to restart the server again. Alright, scroll down. Where are the datas? Nowhere to be found. When you observe the screen, you may not see the data, right? But I can assure you, the data is hiding right at the bottom left corner of the screen. Let me zoom up a little bit. And now I want to show you. Can you see? Simply because we haven't stylized it, that exactly is the reason it appears like this. So come here. Now let's stylize it. Give it a class name and right within the class name, padding left and right is 2 pixels. When you save and check out the browser, you may not see it clearly. So let's do something right now. You know, this is the parent div of this guy, okay? So we positioned this guy relative and then we positioned this div to be absolute. So in actual sense, it means that this div is going to be right in front of this div, okay? So let me show you quickly. Now go outside the div, outside this div, okay? We are going to have an img tag because I want to display the image right now so that everything appears the way we expect it to be. Here, let's give it a class name. Okay, first, let's display the image before the class name. So I'm just going to undo, close it up with the self-closing tag, and I'm going to do src equal item dot img. Let me show you here. So this is it over here. When you save, on the browser, there are these. Can you see? Now it appears fine. But though it is not looking good because we haven't also stylized the image. But at least you can see each food over here with its corresponding title. Here we have the shawarma, we have the fruit juice, we have the yogurts, we have the orange juice, the egg and plantain. Woo! That will taste nice. The tilapia fish, the jollof rice. Oh my goodness. Guys, let's stylize this stuff so that... Alright, let's stylize it quickly. Now, we are going to give this img a class name. The height is going to be a custom height. So let's make it 200 pixels. The width, let's make it 100 pixels, which is full. And then right now, let's save and see what we have. It appears like this. Don't worry. When we begin to implement the slider, we are going to have spaces in between the items. Now let's finish up the style. Object is going to be cover. So this will be the object fit. And actually what this does is to resize the image to fit its actual container. We want the edges of the image to be a little bit curvy. 3XL. The cursor, let's make it pointer. So on hover, when you hover on the image, we want to scale it 105. Good. And we want it ease out. The duration, let's make it 300. When you save on the browser, alright, so when we hover on the image, nothing happens. Alright guys, I think we have to set up the slider before we will begin to see some of the changes. But for now, let's just round up with the slider. Okay? Okay, let's implement the button. Right below the P tag, which is right within this div over here, we are going to display the button. And I'm going to do add to cart. Let's stylize the button. The border, let's make it dotted. This is my own style, so you can actually do something else at your end.
the color of the border is going to be white. The text, let's make it white as well. Margin left and right is going to be 2. Let's have it position absolute. And lastly, the bottom, let's make it 4, which is the margin bottom. Okay, when you save, let's see the results. Good. Can you see the dotted line? Do you see? But the issue now is that it did not appear on white. Let me see something. Oops, guys, this is where the problem lies. The border is supposed to be white, so now you can see it on the screen. Do you see? Okay, let's implement the slider so that everything looks nice. To implement the slider, first we have to install the React slide, okay? And that we have done in the initial stage. Check out the package.json file, and here is it. And then when you go to the topic, we have to import the split and the split slide, including the CSS package. And now what we are going to do is to wrap it up with the split. So right after this div, I'm going to do split. Close it up. Make sure to highlight, cut, and then come and paste it right here. Like this, okay? Good. Now within the split, I'm going to do options equal, open and close curly bracket, and then we want it to appear 4 per page. If you observe the screen right now, you will realize that we have almost 10 items appearing per page. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that exactly is the reason image did not take its shape. Okay, so now we want 4 items per page. So how to do that is per page, we want it 4. And again, before we proceed, let's wrap it up with the split slide. Right below the return, I'm going to do split slide. Highlight, cut off the closing tag, and then place it after the closing div. Here like this. When you save and observe the screen, you will realize that this style will be applied. Do you see? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. And now you can slide the images. Can you see? How awesome is this? We have the arrows to slide. Take a look. Beautiful. Now, if you observe the items, you will realize that there is no space in between. Yeah? So let's quickly do that. Come here. To create spaces in between the items, all we are going to do is gap is going to be equal to 0.5 rem. This is exactly my own specification. You can make it 4 rem, 5, or whatever you like at your end. Save and check out the browser. Now you see. Can you see that? This is cool. I love it. Okay, so one thing I want to do is to actually make the drag to be a little bit smooth. So let's do that quickly. Make sure to place a comma right here, and then I'm going to do drag equal free. When you observe the screen, which is at the left edge of the screen, you are going to see this slide arrow right here. I don't like this. Okay, so I'm going to do comma here, and then I'm going to do arrows. Let's set it to false. And I think that is the end of it. Do you see? Now the arrow is gone. Beautiful. What else again do we have to do? Okay, let's open up the console and let me show you. Here it says, warning, each child in a list should have a unique key prop.
Of course, you should know that by now. And then what I'm going to do right now is key equal item dot. So we have to look for something that will be used to uniquely identify the items. And over here, I can tell you that the ID is the only thing that can be used to uniquely identify all of this stuff right here. Because you can have two items with the same price. And as well, you may have two items with the same title. So I think using the ID is the best idea. Yeah, so now I'm going to do item.id. When you save on the browser, let's check out the console again. Refresh. Beautiful. Now you no longer see the error of the key index. And please take note, when applying the key, it must be done at the top level. So when I do something like this, copy this key right here, cut. Let's assume I want to apply it to this div. When you save, on the browser, open up the console, and then you will see that the child in a list should have a unique key prop, simply because we have applied the key prop to this div over here. So it should be done at the top level. So let's do it like this. Save, check out the browser, refresh the console, reload. Everything is functioning perfectly fine as expected. So far so good. Everything is nice. I love it. So the next in line is to show the price. And for sure, let's give it an alternate here so that if the image doesn't show up, something else could actually show up. Alt equal. If the image doesn't show up, we are going to display the name of the item. So now I'm going to do item dot title. So if we have a break in the image, we want to display this stuff right here, which is the title. Okay, let's format the code and it looks clean. Lastly, we are going to implement the price. Again, we want to use the p tag to do that. Here we're going to have a p tag, and then I'm going to do item dot price. When you save and check out the browser, can you see? Now the price is like this. Let's stylize it quickly. Give it a class name. We just have to give it a padding. px-2. Padding left and right is 2. And here for the title, we also have to make the font to be bold. Font dash bold. The text to Excel. Padding top. Okay, let's make it uniform. Padding top. Let's make it 4. Can you see? Everything appears nicely. I love this result. Friends, can you see? So guys, everything appears nicely. But if you observe the left edge of the screen, you will realize that there is no space in between. And I don't like it like that, okay? So it should start from here like this. So let's go ahead and check out the padding left. Div class name is hidden. Large screen should appear flex the position. The max width is 1520 pixels. The margin is auto. The PY is 2 and the PX is 2. But guys, take a look. This exactly is where the mistake comes in. See PX here, we have to take off the equal sign. Can you see? Take it off. Save. Take a look. Now it appears nicely. So guys, actually we human beings, we are prone to mistakes, right? So when typing and you are teaching, talking, you will definitely make mistake. Yeah. So, but it doesn't necessarily matter because everyone makes mistake. This is all for now for the slider, and it is working perfectly fine. I love the end result one more time. Yeah. So take a look. Beautiful. This is all for now, and in the next lecture we will proceed with the meal. Okay, so we will have to display the foods right on the screen. See you then. Welcome back everyone. Previously, we implemented the top peak slider. And there it is. Alright, so in this lecture, we will go ahead to implement the meal component. Okay, so we are going to map through the meal data and have them displayed on the screen with a very beautiful design. And believe me, the design is going to be responsive, just as usual. Head on to VS Code, components, and then meal.js. Close down the Explorer, RAFCE, to generate React arrow function component. Okay, I'm going to take this off for now. Go back to the app.js and let's have it rendered here. Let's start by stylizing this div. First, give it a class name, and then the max width 1520 pixels. The margin auto. Padding left and padding right 4. Padding top and bottom, let's make it 12. Yeah, so right within this div, we are going to have the h1 tag that will serve as the headline. Now I'm going to do top peak, okay? I want to copy it from here. Highlight the h1 tag, come here, and paste. We just have to change the write-up. Our meal. Save. And here is it. Can you see? Right below the h1 tag, we are going to have a div, give it a class name, and then let's stylize the div. We want this div to appear in a grid column kind of stuff, all right? So we are going to say display grid, and then on medium device like iPad, we want the grid to appear in 2 columns. So I'm going to do grid dash columns dash 2. It's as simple as that. So on a smaller device, which is SM, change this guy to SM. On a smaller device, we want a column. And on a larger device, we want it 4 columns. Here I'm going to change it to LG and not the LG in form of your gadget. Okay? This is large. All right. What next? Okay, the gap should be 6, but I think we should implement the rest of the styles when we are done with the design. So here within the div, we have to map through the data. And of course, in the previous lecture, we imported this data over here. And it is right within the SRC. SRC, data, and then you're going to see the data.js file. So right within this module, we have the meal data. And of course, this is just an array of objects, okay? And right within the object, we have the items in form of key value pair, the ID, the name, category, image, and price. And then we have how many of them? Here we have up to 15. Good. Command B to close down the Explorer. And then we are going to open up the curly bracket here to take in JavaScript expressions. But before we proceed, we have to import the meal data at the top. I'm going to do import. It is going to be a named export. Meal data from data/data.js. And right here, I'm going to do meal data.map. The map method takes in a parameter called item. And for sure, you can name this parameter any other thing you want to name it. But I highly recommend you stick to the convention item. Okay? But you can give it any other descriptive name at your end. So this item over here represents each item right within the object. So set it to arrow function. And then we want to return a UI. Right within the UI, we're going to have a div. Let's give it a style. And then the border of this div
is going to be none because this will serve as the card. Yeah, so this is the div where the whole of the stuffs will rest upon. So we are going to have the border to be none. On hover, when you hover on this div or on this card, so to say, we want to scale it 105. And the duration is 300. Close it down. Yeah, so what next? Now we are going to have an img tag. Right within the img, we are going to do src, which is the source. And the source of this image, it is coming from item.image. Close it up with the self-closing tag. So the source over here is coming from, of course, the data we imported at the top. So when you save and check out the browser, there it is. Can you see? Beautiful. Now, on a large screen, it appears in 4 columns. Column 1, column 2, 3, and 4. And as well, if you observe carefully, when I hover on the image, it zooms up a little bit. And that makes it extremely nicer. Take a look. Can you see? Do you see? Though I understand that there is no space in between the items, but we can as well fix that quickly. Now, go back to the card, which is this guy right here. I'm going to do gap. Let's give the gap of 6. Save. On the browser, can you see? Now we have space in between the images. But again, you will realize that the images are not well styled. Don't worry, we will do that in a jiffy. So now we have succeeded in displaying all the images right within the mail data. This guy's right here. All of the stuffs. And it's cool. Now you know how to work dynamically with ReactJS using the map method. Teaching good? Beautiful. All right, let's continue. Now let's stylize the image. Yeah, so here I'm going to do class name. Right within the class, I'm going to do the width. Let's make it 100%. The height, let's make it 100%. Save. On the browser, there it is. Now everything is cool. But when you observe it again carefully, you will realize that the images are kind of breaking, okay? Like this image over here. So we have to resize the image in a way that it fits to its container. And the way to do that is by specifying the object fit. Come here, and I'm going to do object dash cover. So the object fit is cover. Save. On the browser, can you see? All of them appears nicely now. I like it. So let's make the border of the image to be a little bit curvy. Come here and I'm going to do rounded dash LG. Save. On the browser, there it is. Now you have the rounded borders. I hope you can see it clearly. Fine. Let's continue. Alright, so guys, there is something I just observed right now. If you look at it closely, you will realize that the height of the images are not equal. Like this shawarma over here, the height is not equal with this pizza. And as well, this very tasty tilapia fish that you can see over there. So we have to look for a way to make the heights to be equal. And of course, it is going to be very easy. So let's change the height to be 200 pixels. When you save on the browser, they are all equal now. Teaching good? Beautiful. So if there is a break in the image, we have to display the alternative kind of option. So here I'm going to do alternate. We want to display it dynamically. I'm going to do item dot the name of the item. Good. Having done that, let's work on the name. Alright, after the closing tag of the img, we are going to have a div, give the class name to stylize it, and then
we are going to have it display flex, justify content, space between. Okay, padding top and bottom 4, padding left and padding right, let's make it 4 as well. Okay, let's make this 2 so that it doesn't become too much. Close down the div, save. Okay, right within this div, we are going to use the p tag to display the price. Okay, I'm going to do item dot price, save and see on the browser. Okay, now you have the price over here, but this is not how we want it. Now let's stylize it. Let's give the p a class name. We want the background to be orange, orange dash 700. The height is 18, the width is 18. Rounded, we want it full. Can you see? So this will make the border radius to be spherical, almost 100%. Yep. When you save on the browser, there are these. Okay, can you see now? It's not appearing nicely. So now we want to place it on top of the image. Yeah, so I'm going to do margin top. It is going to be a -10. That is why I use this minus margin top to be 10. So this will actually make this value to be a negative value. Save and see what I'm talking about. It is going to push it to the top. Can you see? Now we have the stuff over here right at the top of the image. Okay, so remember before it was below the image, and right now it is at the top. All right, so the test, let's make it white, test dash white, py, which is the padding top and padding bottom 4, the padding left and right is 2, the border is 8 because we want to give it a very big border. So when you save and see it yourself, can you see? Now it is gradually taking shape. I love this, honestly. This appears so nicely and so beautiful. Yeah, this is cool. Awesome. Awesome. Fantastic. And the fonts, let's make it bold. Font dashboard. All right, so haven't displayed the price. The next in line is, let's check it out right here. Okay, the name of the mail. Yeah, so right above the price, we're going to have another p tag. And then I'm going to do item dot name. It's as simple as that. Save and check it out. And you see the name appears here. And right now it pushed the price to the right. Everything appears nicely and I love it. Let's continue. Let's give it a little bit of style. Here, I'm going to do font dashboard. That's the only thing we're going to do right here. I can assure you. Okay, cool. The next is the view more button. Yeah, so we are going to have a view more button right below the name of the item. So right after this closing div, we are going to have another div with the class name. Okay, let's close it up. So let's give the padding left of 2, and then padding top and padding bottom, let's make it 4. Okay, now you may not see anything, so let's work on it. Here we are going to have a p tag, and I'm going to do view more like this. And what I'm going to do is to display it with an arrow. So go to the top, let's import arrow SM right icon from. Okay, so before we proceed with the import, let's quickly install the package right here. npm install at heroicons/react, and here is it. You can as well visit their page and copy it from here. Do you see? Go ahead to install. Installation is ongoing. So let's continue to import it from at heroicons/react. And look, the installation is done. Beautiful. Okay, let's start up the server so that we don't have to do it over again.
So here we want to display the icon. And I'm going to do, after the view more, I'm going to do ROSM right icon. Close it up with the self-closing tag. Let's quickly give the style. The width, let's make it 5. Margin left, let's make it 2. Yeah, so when you save and check out the browser, okay guys, the icon is not working. I don't actually know why, so I'm just going to pause the video and then do a research behind the scene to understand why the icon is not working, because actually we've done the right thing over here. Or we can as well do something like /outline. Let's see what happens. It did not work. Okay, let's view the console. Said we are trying to import blah 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 from v1, but have installed Heroine Icons version 2. Alright guys, it seems they have actually upgraded the library. So now I have to do a research behind the scene and then see what works for us. Alright, see you then. Alright guys, I'm back. After the research that I made behind the scene, I realized that they have upgraded the library. Okay, so the only solution I have for the moment is to downgrade the library to version 1. If you look here, you will realize that we installed version 2.0. So the idea is to downgrade it to version 1. Yeah, so I'm just going to highlight, wipe it off, save it right within the package.json file. And come here, let me show you. We have to copy this guy from here like this, copy, and then right within the terminal, make sure you are in the client directory, Command V to paste, and then I'm going to do @ simply because we have to target a specific version, 1.0.6. Yeah, so this exactly is the version that will enable us to use that particular arrow. So when I install, let's see what happens. Okay, fine. Installed successful, and here is it. So go back to the mail.js, and then if you do not have this outline, okay, you just have to do something like this, /outline. Save. Let's start up the server one more time. All right, so when you scroll down, here is the arrow. So now we have the arrow displayed on the screen. The next in line is to have it aligned properly because we want it to come right in front of the view more. Yeah, so go back to VS Code and then, so let's stylize the P tag. Give it the class name. Here we are going to have it display flex. So when you display flex, everything is going to appear on the same line. And here is it. Can you see? Awesome. We are going to align items to center. The test dash indigo dash 600. Let's check it out. Oh, beautiful. Take a look. Can you see? It works fine. And I think the spaces between the view more and the item name is actually too much, and it is not well aligned from the left axis. So let's fix that quickly. Let's give it a margin top. It is going to be a negative value, which will push it to the top. Let's make it 7. Save on the browser. Now it worked, but it is not in the same line from the left side. Alright guys, so this is all for now, and in the next lecture we will continue with this component. Welcome back everyone. Alright, so before we proceed, I want to draw your attention to something very crucial. Alt-Command-I to open up the console. And right within the console, you will see that each child in the list should have a unique key probe. Guys, I actually thought you will be able to figure it out at your end.
but no problem. I'm going to help you. Come back to VS Code. Right here, let me see. Right within this div, we are going to specify the key. Key equal item.id. So the ID is what can be used to uniquely identify the items right within the array of the mail data. Of course, you know that. Let me show you one more time. Okay, here is it. So the ID is unique. So we have to use the ID as a unique key props to identify each element in the array or each object, so to say. Refresh. And now when you refresh the console, everything is working fine. You no longer have the annoying error over there. Good. Another important thing that I want you to take note of is the name of the item and the view more button. So we want it to be in line. Can you see? It looks like it is overlapping. What we have to do now is to align them properly. Come here. So right within this div over here. So we said that the padding left and padding right is 4 over here. Let's make it 2 over here. Save. Now everything is in line. Another thing we want to do right here is that, can you see this place? There's no space in between the headline and the items. So I'm just going to scroll up. Here we have the PY to be 12. After that here, let's see what happens. All right, let's have a PY over here. Padding top and padding bottom. Let's make it 4. Save. On the browser. All right, now everything is working perfectly fine as expected. In the next lecture, we will begin to implement the button in order to sort the items according to categories. See you in the next lecture. Okay, now we have a very beautiful design with the items displayed on the screen. The next in line is to implement the buttons to sort the items by categories. Alright, so on click of the button, we want to sort the items by their corresponding categories. Let's implement that quickly. VS Code. So right after the closing h1 tag, we are going to have a div. Let's give it a class name so that we can stylize it. We are going to have this div display flex. Flex direction is column. On large devices, the flex direction is going to be row. Justify content to center. Close down the div. So right within this div, we are going to have another div. Give it a class name, and then we can stylize the div right now. We also want to have it display flex, so I'm just going to copy from here, paste. We also want to have it justify to center, paste, and what else again? On a medium device, MD, we also want to justify content to center. It's as simple as that. All right, so let's quickly create the buttons. And here I'm going to do all. So right within this button, highlight, duplicate it 3 times. So here I'm going to do pizza, chicken. Okay, check out the spelling of the chicken. And lastly, I'm going to do salad. Save, and let's see what we have on the browser. And boom, can you see? It appears like this. It is indeed looking very awesome, but I want to give it a little bit of a professional touch, okay? So that the button appears nicer than this. So what to do now is to give the button a class and then stylize it. Highlight the button. And please, there's need to be precise over here. I am highlighting only the button right within the tag. I am not highlighting the tags. Okay, so when you highlight the first button, press down the Alt and the Command key on your keyboard, then tap the down arrow key to multi-select the whole of the buttons. And then give it a class name. Now, can you see? We want to stylize the whole of the buttons at once. And that is fantastic, okay? It makes work easier. Guys, I'm teaching you some professional stuff over here. And I hope you like it. Give it a margin of 1. The border is going to be orange-700. The text is going to be white. So on hover, we want to change the background color to white. So I'm going to do on hover, change the background to white. Yeah. Then also on hover, we want to change the text to orange-700. Again, on hover, we want to change the border color to orange-700 as well. I think that's all for now. Okay, let's quickly save on the browser. Oops, take a look. So guys, let's change the background here. We have to apply the background. Let me show you how we do that right now. Here we have the border to be orange. The text is white. The margin is 1. And then let's specify the background. BG dash orange dash 700. Save and see the result on the browser. Good. Everything works perfectly fine. But right now, when you click on the buttons, nothing happens. Oops, guys, take a look. Make sure to correct it. It should be salad and not otherwise. Like this, all right? Pizza, everything is well spelled. And then save. Here, good. It appears nicely with the hover effect working perfectly fine. Beautiful. I love what I'm seeing, honestly. So when we click the pizza button, it is going to select all the pizza related items. Chicken is going to select chicken related items. And then salad is going to filter out the salad related items as well. Okay, so how to do that right now? So first, we have to import the useState hook at the top. Import the useState, and here we are going to make the useState snippet. And I'm going to call it foods. We are going to set foods like this on cap. Take a look. And here, the initial state is going to be meal data, okay, which is the data object we have in the data package. Is it important to show you that again? Okay, let me show you. All right, here they. This is the meal data, okay? So having done this, it is assumed that we have assigned the meal data to a variable called foods. Yeah, so I'm going to copy, come down here. So we are going to do foods.map. When you save and check out the browser. So friends, everything cool. Yeah? All right. So let's implement the filter functionality. Scroll up right below the state variables. We are going to define the function to filter the items by its category. Now I'm going to do const filter category. That is the name of the function. And then I'm going to take in category as its parameter and then set it to our function. Right here, we have to update the initial state. So I'm going to do meal data dot filter because we are going to filter through the meal data to precisely select each category. Okay, so here I'm going to do item. Yeah, again, set it to our function. Right within, we are going to return item dot category equal the actual category right within the meal data. So having done this, the next in line is to implement the onClick. Okay, let's format the code like this. OnClick equal. We have to update the foods. Set foods to meal data. Okay, good. Highlight this, copy, come to the pizza button, and then let's paste it right here. But now, in this case, we want to call the function that we defined here. Call this function like this. And then we have to pass in the exact category pizza. Okay, save and let's see if it works. Oops, it says categories is not defined. Whoa, did I do that? Where exactly? Oh my goodness, guys, take a look on lines 10. Now it should work. It says meal date is not defined. Oops, guys, eyes are closing over here. It is late night, so sorry about that. Now let's try it on pizza. It works, guys. Look, beautiful. And when I click on all, it returns all the meals. I think that is good, but chicken and salad is not working for now. So let's quickly implement it. I just have to copy this guy, paste it right here. And this is gonna be chicken. I love chicken so much. And then copy again, paste it within the salad button, and then change the category to salad. Save on the browser, refresh. When you click pizza, it shows pizza. Chicken, it shows chicken. Salad, it shows salad. This is extremely fantastic, guys, and I love it. I am loving every bit of this course. This is all for now, and everything is working perfectly fine as expected. Let's check the mobile responsiveness. Can you see that? It works fine. Take a look. Let's check it on an iPhone device. Salad, chicken. Oh my god. Okay, let's continue. In the next lecture, we will begin to implement the top categories section. This is all for now. See you in the next lecture. Beautiful. All right, so in this lecture, we are going to work on the top categories. So basically, what we are going to do is to map through the categories and have them displayed on the screen. And of course, we are going to give it a very beautiful looking design so as to look attractive to the eyes of the end users. Head on to VS Code, Command B to open up the Explorer, Categories.js, and then I'm going to do RefC to generate our functional component, and then there's need to go through the data again. So here is the categories data. This arrow over here with object and then the items over there. So basically we are going to display the name and the images. Close it down. So first what I'm going to do is to import categories, and please, this is in small letter, from /data/data. Of course, you should know this by now. We have to render the categories component right within the app.js. And also, please do make sure to import it at the top. Okay, so yeah, now I'm going to do console.log categories. Now something must definitely appear right on the console. And here are the data. Can you see? We have the index to be 0, the ID is 1, the name of the category, and their image path. Yeah, so guys, that exactly is what we have for now. So let's see how we can display all of these stuffs on the screen. Let's give the div a class name so as to stylize it. The max width is going to be 1520 pixels. Margin, auto. Padding left and padding right is 4. Padding top and padding bottom is 12. Okay, I want to be exact, so I'm not sure of this. Let me open up the mail.js or any of the stuff and let me see. Okay, 1520, I think that's it. Okay, fine. When you save, here we're going to have a h1 tag that will save as the headline. h1, right within, I'm going to do trending categories. And as well, I just have to copy this style from here. They are all the same. Copy, come here. Just have to replace it like this. Save on the browser. Here is it. Good. So the PY is 12 pixels. I think we should make it 4 pixels. So that's, yep, this is better now. All right, so let's continue. The next in line right now is to map through the data and then have it displayed on the screen, and as well stylize the item so as to appear nicely in the eyes of the end users. Here we are going to have a div, give it a class name, grid dash. So we are going to have it display grid. On medium device, we want the grid to display column 6. Then give the gap of 5. Padding top and bottom 5. Padding left and padding right, let's make it 2. Let's begin to map through the categories. Categories dot map. I believe all of you can map through an item. This is no longer a big deal for the whole of you because we've been doing this for the past 4 to 5 lectures right now. So yeah, take an item which represents each element right within the array, and then here we are going to return a UI. Give it a div with the class name. Let's stylize the div. Padding is going to be 4. Let's have it display flex. Justify content to center. Items align, center. On hover, we want it to scale 105, okay? And the duration is 300. Okay, fine. Close down the div again. Here I'm going to do img src equal item dot image. Close it down. When you save, let's check it out on the browser. Oops, nothing is here. All right, guys, let's do it like this. Take a look. Can you see? It works. This is looking beautiful. Okay, let's round it up right now. So the image, we are going to give it an alternative. So if the link of the image goes dead, something else could actually come up on the screen. So now the alternative, okay, I'm going to do item dot name. So this is actually when the link of the image is dead, this guy is going to show up, which is the name of the item. Okay, let me show you. For example, there's a mistake in this right now. When I save on the browser, you see, it is going to display the names, right? So these are the alternatives, right? Good. I told you at the beginning of this course that I am going to try as much as possible to explain everything simply so that
everyone understand it well enough. And by the way, that is the voice of Albert Einstein. Everything cool. Okay, when you check out the console, you are going to see this warning over here. So for this warning, right now, I want you to pause the video and try as much as possible to implement it at your end. Welcome back, everyone. Now, I want to help you to solve this problem. Actually, it is not a problem, okay? So this is just a very simple thing that everyone can do. So we have to specify the key right at the top level. And I'm going to do item.id because the ID is something that could be used to uniquely identify the categories. Let's refresh. Good. Can you see? It is mobile responsive. Alright, so everything is working perfectly fine as expected. This is all for now, and in the next lecture, we will begin to implement the newsletter component. See you then. So quickly, let's proceed with the newsletter component. VS Code, and then we have to open up the newsletter component. Okay, quickly, let's render it within the app component. Good. Now let's get started. Let's give this div a class name so we can stylize it. The max width is going to be, as usual, 1520 pixels. The margin is going to be auto. The text, let's make it white. Padding left and right, let's make it 4. And then the BG, which is the background color, we are going to specify our own custom color. So I'm going to do 24, 26, 2B. Another div with the class name. This time around, I'm going to do mx-auto, display grid, and on large device, we want it to grid column 3. Another div, give it a class name. So on large device, we're going to make it, okay, good. Margin top and margin bottom, let's make it 5 or 4, okay. We are going to have a h1 tag, and I'm going to do need advice on how to improve your flow. We are going to have a p tag here, and I'm going to do okay, let's save the application to see what we have on the browser. And here are they. Another div, give the class name, and then I'm going to do my-4. Right within this div, we're going to have another div, give it a class name, and then we're going to have it display flex. So the flex direction is column. On a smaller device, the flex direction is going to be row. Let's align items to center. Justify content, space between. And the width is going to be full width, which makes it 100%. Okay, right within this div, we are going to have an input tag here. The input, close it up with the self-closing tag.
Let's give it a class name. P-3. We're going to have it display flex. Width is going to be full. And then rounded MD. The test, let's make it black. Good. And the input type equal email. Let's give it a placeholder. And I'm going to do email. When you save on the browser, and here is it. Okay, so the next in line is to create the button. So right after the closing tag of the input field, we are going to have a button. Give this button a class name and then let's stylize it. The background is going to be a custom background, so I'm going to do 00 df9a. The text is white. We want the border to be a little bit curvy. The font is going to be medium. The width, so the width of the button, let's make it 200 pixels. Margin left, let's make the margin left 4. And then margin top and margin bottom, let's make it 6. Margin left and margin right, also let's make it 6. And then border, none. So here, I'm going to do notify me. Save. Can you see? Here is it. I think the width of the button is not alright, guys. Here is supposed to be pixels. Alright. Good. So right after the closing div, we are going to have a p tag. And I'm going to do so actually this will help create space in between, and I'm going to do here, we're going to have span, give it a class name, so we have to stylize it. Test, the test within is going to be okay. We just have to use the same color here, so copy and paste. All right. Lastly, what I'm going to do right now is to highlight the closing p tag, cut, and then close it up here. So after that, right below the closing div, we're going to have a hedge arrow. Give it a class, so this will draw the line in between. Don't worry, I'm going to show you. Okay, let's place a comment on this. Save the application, and now we have something like this. Looks nice. Remove the comments and then the class name. I'm going to do my-8 to stylize the HR. bg-gray-700 and the border -1. Here is the result. Okay, so this line over here. Think everything cool? Yeah, so what is again? Let's go through this stuff over here because I don't like the way the button appears. So let's check it out. My is 6, px is 3, and then py is 3. Okay, so I think we have to add a padding to it. So I'm going to do py, which is padding top and padding bottom. Let's make it 3. Save. All right, guys, it appears very nicely and I love it. So this is all for now for the newsletter component, and in the next lecture, we will proceed with the footer. See you in the next lecture. Welcome back, everyone. Alright, so in the previous lecture, we implemented the newsletter component. And for sure, everything appears nicely as expected. So, in this lecture, we will go ahead to implement the footer. Go back to VS Code, open up the Explorer, and then here is the footer.js. React to generate arrow functional component. The next in line is to import the necessary social media icons that will be used on the footer. So here I'm going to do import fa dribble square, comma, and this should be triple B. All right. Then fa Facebook square, fa GitHub square, fa Instagram, and lastly fa Twitter. And all of these is coming from react-icons. And then we have to suffix it with fa. As simple as that. We have fa dribble square, fa Facebook square, GitHub square, Instagram, and Twitter. All right, let's continue. Now here, let's stylize the div. Then we are going to have the max width to be 1520 pixels. Margin is going to be auto. Padding X, which is left to right, is 4. Padding top and padding bottom, make it 2. The background color. All right, so let's copy some of the stuffs from newsletter. Okay, so this is the background color that we used. So I'm just gonna do like this. All right. We are gonna have another div, give it a class name, and then padding top and padding bottom is 16. Padding left and padding right is 4. We're gonna have it display grid, and on a large device, we want the grid to display 3 columns. Then the gap is 8. Text, let's give it a color gray 300. Cool. Another div. Right within this div, we're gonna have a h1 tag. Then I'm gonna do yum eats. Let's quickly stylize the h1. Give it a full width. Text is gonna be 3XL. The font is gonna be bold. Text color is gonna be orange dash 500. Beautiful. So now we're gonna have a p tag. Right within the p tag, I'm gonna copy and paste the dummy text. Let's format the code. After the closing p tag, we are gonna have another div. Give it a class name, and then let's have it display flex. Justify content. Space between. On medium devices, we are going to have the width to be 75%. Margin top and margin bottom, let's make it 6. And here exactly is where we would display the icons, okay? So first, we are going to have the FA Facebook square. The size, let's make it 30. Then highlight, duplicate it 4 times. This place is going to be FA Instagram, FA Twitter, FA GitHub square, and lastly, FA dribble square. All right, let's save. Let's render the component right within the app.js. And here we're going to have footer. Make sure to import it at the top. Save. On the browser, there are these. Can you see? Take a look. The Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, GitHub, and the dribble. But though it did not appear as expected, don't worry. We are going to give it a professional touch. So let's do that quickly. So right after this closing div, we are going to have another div. Give the class name. Sorry, guys. Right within the div, on large devices, we are going to have it column span dash 2. We are going to have it display flex, justify content, space between, margin top 6. Another div. Right within this div, we are going to have a h6 tag. Okay, and I'm going to do location. Right here, I'm going to do class name equal. Let's make the fonts to be medium. The test dash, we are going to use a custom test over here. So I'm going to do 9B, 9B, 9B. All right, that will give you a little touch of gray, right? Now we are going to have on ordered list UL. Right within the UL, we are going to have the list items. So here, give the class name, padding top and bottom is going to be 2. Test SM, which implies the font size and the line height. Highlight, we have to duplicate it 3 times. So here I'm going to do New York City. Here I'm going to do USA, India, and lastly we have Canada. I love Canada so much. Alright, and that's by the way. So what else? Now I'm going to highlight this div, and then we are going to duplicate it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And this is the actual div that we created. Save and let's see what we have on the browser. Everything appears nicely, but for sure, this is not the expected outcome. Okay, so I do not like the way the stuff is scattered around. So go back to VS Code and let's fix that quickly. Basically, this is where the issue lies, okay? Yeah, we said on large devices, we want it to be grid column 3. But the problem is that everything was squeezed together. And I think that is one of the drawbacks of Tailwind. Okay, so you have to be doing column dash 3. If you do not use this dash over here, it is not going to work for you. So when you do columns dash 3, it will split it into 3 columns. That is when everything is going to be all right. At the end, you are going to have something like this. Take a look. Do you like it? Alright guys, this is the end of the lecture and I believe everything is as expected. Can you see?